things happened in the NFL yesterday. I'm going to present them, and we're going to determine whether this is something we should pay attention to or not that big of a deal.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, first things first. The Cowboys made a move yesterday. Yeah, that's right. The Cowboys made a move yesterday.
They did?
They did.
They usually don't do anything this time of year.
Well, they got a talent yesterday.
Okay.
They got a backup quarterback for Dak Prescott, Joe Milton III. They acquired him in a 2025 7th-round pick from the Patriots for a 2025 5th-round pick yesterday. They needed a backup quarterback after Cooper Rush signed a 2-year deal with the Ravens. Now, Joe Milton is an interesting option for them. He was a 6th-round pick last year. He played in New England's season finale. A lot of people talked about the arm strength. He can really sling it. He led the Patriots to a win against the Bills, completing 22 of 29 passes for 241 yards and a touchdown, while also running for another score. A lot of people are looking at his talent and wondering what he could be. Was this a good move for the Dallas Cowboys to bring in Joe Milton?
Yeah, I don't mind it. They gave up a mid-round draft pick in order to bring him over, a guy that has a lot of upside. And if we're keeping it a buck, Dak Prescott has been oft injured. And so the Cowboys have to protect themselves. They have to hedge against Dak. Now, listen, Dak is the starter when he's healthy, but Dak going into this offseason program is going to be somewhat limited because of the hamstring. So being able to get an extended look at Joe Milton, this guy getting the reps with the number one offense during the offseason and potentially in the training camp, I think that's a good thing for the Dallas Cowboys. It's another one of those free rolls when it comes to a quarterback that has a lot of physical ability, a lot of physical upside, but hasn't necessarily been able to harness it or hasn't necessarily proven that he's a starter in this league.
Absolutely. I thought the same thing. I thought this was a really smart move for the Dallas Cowboys. You get yourself another option in that quarterback room, especially one with those type of physical talents. You hope that Dak is healthy all season long, but if not, it gives you a break in case of emergency. And it gives you an opportunity to get somebody like Joe Milton in the building, see what you like about him, see if you think that he could be something, and then make a decision. It's kind of like the Trey Lance move they made, but that didn't work out. And I'm thinking about that right now. Like, what's Trey Lance doing?
I have no idea.
They talked with him, I know, a little bit about an extension after Dak Prescott had that season-ending hamstring injury. Those conversations really didn't materialize in any way. He's unsigned. Trey Lance unsigned. So for somebody who the San Francisco 49ers took a big swing on to draft him, number 3 overall?
Yes.
In the NFL draft, now he had gone to the Cowboys and is in no man's land.
Yeah, I don't know what Trey Lance is doing. I don't know what Trey Lance is thinking, but there are only going to be fewer seats after the draft. So this is the time of year as a quarterback in his position where you want to sign with somebody. And so the fact that he's letting this thing play out, I'm not quite sure exactly what he's looking for. Mm-hmm. But Trey Lance is, at this point, you have to call him a draft bust. And he's got to be looking for the right place to resurrect his career. I don't know where that ends up being, but he better find that place pretty damn quickly.
And doesn't it just emphasize even more how lucky the 49ers were to stumble upon Brock Purdy?
Well, you say lucky. I don't necessarily see it that way.
Well, go ahead.
Well, here's the problem. The San Francisco 49ers have been in, 3 conference championship games over the last 5 years and a Super Bowl trip, and yet not necessarily having anything to show for it. And you have to wonder what they would have been able to do with those 3 first-round draft picks that they invested in Trey Lance, what this team would have been had they had that capital and Brock Purdy. So there's an opportunity cost that came along with drafting Trey Lance. There's a big cost to be paid when you miss on a player like that. And the cost is potentially missing out on a chance to win a championship with this core of players.
Fair. I guess my thought process is you took this big swing on a quarterback with a top 3 pick. It didn't work out. And you drafted a quarterback as Mr. Irrelevant, and he took you to the Super Bowl. The odds of that happening are so slim. And the fact that they were able to have somebody in the building that was able to step in and perform to the level that Brock Purdy did, I don't think that they ever thought that would be the plan, which is why I think there's a little bit of luck involved. Okay, let's go on to the next thing, CC. Something or nothing. Bills running back James Cook. Now, he wants to get paid. He wants a new deal with the Buffalo Bills. And it's not really looking like things are trending in a positive direction as far as those negotiations are concerned. He put his house on the market in Buffalo. Something or nothing?
Oh, this is something. This is something. I mean, you got to remember that Dalvin Cook is his brother and Dalvin Cook threatened to hold out when he couldn't get his money right with the Minnesota Vikings back in 2020. James Cook has earned a bump in pay. I mean, through the first 3 years, the guy's made $4.5 million. He's scheduled to make $5 million this year. I mean, he's been 1,000-yard back each of the last 2 seasons, 18 total rushing touchdowns, and then, of course, 24 total touchdowns. So this guy can do it on the ground. He can do it as a receiver out of the backfield. This is a security blanket for Josh Allen. And quite frankly, this is somebody that allows you to get the best out of Josh Allen because he can turn around and hand the ball off to James Cook and, be able to put himself in favorable positions, being ahead of the sticks, being ahead of schedule. So for a lot of different reasons, I love the idea of taking care of James Cook. I'm not sure what him and his camp are looking for, but this is one of those contracts that the Buffalo Bills need to think long and hard about trying to get done sooner rather than later because of the importance that James Cook has to this team.
So based on the reporting out there, Cook wants an extension worth 15 plus million annually. Mm-hmm. That would rank him second amongst NFL running backs. And I don't know if the Buffalo Bills are necessarily going to do that because their GM Brandon Beane suggested that they wouldn't really be negotiating anytime soon or anytime further.
That's crazy.
And Brandon Beane has yet to sign a running back to a second contract after drafting them. So all signs are pointing as if this is going to be a breakup.
I understand the logic, but you're talking about somebody that's given you 2,800 yards from scrimmage over the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. That's like I don't know how you easily replace that. Like that's a huge amount of production. So if you're the Buffalo Bills, you got to recognize the version of Josh Allen you got is because you asked him to do less. Less Josh Allen is more. Mm-hmm. This is a team that was a top 10 running game in terms of yards and attempts and had the most rushing touchdowns of anybody in football. And the head of the stake is James Cook in that regard. So why would you not want to take care of that guy? That just doesn't make sense to me. Like you have an MVP quarterback, you have a really good offensive line. Make sure you have balance on the offensive side of the ball, being able to run the football with James Cook, as opposed to asking Josh Allen to play hero ball and create opportunities for more turnover-worthy plays.
And I know that the running back position has been devalued a bit over the past few years, but coming off the season that we had where Derrick Henry popped off, Josh Jacobs, and of course Saquon Barkley, it kind of reinvigorated the way that we look at that position.
And we got to put James Cook in that conversation, okay? Because James Cook had 1,000 yards rushing and he only had 200 attempts. This dude gets busy. We got to put...
Market's been reset. The Cardinals and Trey McBride agreed to a 4-year, $76 million extension, $43 million guaranteed. The annual average value of $19 million, that tops Travis Kelce's previous high at the position. Now, McBride didn't score a touchdown until his 15th game, but was a Pro Bowler for the first time in his career. McBride was second to Brock Bowers in targets, receptions, and receiving yards among tight ends last year. His 111 catches ranked second in a season in team history. And since entering the league in 2022, he's dropped just 2 of his targets, 296 to be more specific. The lowest drop rate among players with at least 200 targets.
Y'all, something is happening in the NFL and nobody seems ready to admit it. Aaron Rodgers might have just slammed the door on the Steelers. The Vikings? They're ghosting him too. And guess who's quietly creeping into the conversation? Yep, it's America's team. The Dallas freaking Cowboys. I'm not saying it's happening, but I'm not saying it's not happening either. Collision, could the Cowboys be positioning themselves to land Aaron Rodgers and Joe Milton? Could this finally push Dak Prescott to be the guy we all hoped he'd be? Or is this the beginning of the end for number 4 in Dallas? Buckle up, Cowboys Nation, we gotta talk. The Rodgers-Steelers/Vikings drama. Let's break it down. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been circling Aaron Rodgers for weeks now, maybe longer, and yet, no deal. They're stalling. Reports say they're getting frustrated, even considering drafting a QB like Shadur Sanders or Jackson Dart in the first round. Why? Because Aaron Rodgers is doing what he always does, waiting. Watching, controlling the narrative. And you know what? It's starting to look like he doesn't even want to be a Steeler. I mean, if Mike Tomlin, one of the most respected coaches in football, wants you, and you still don't sign, that's a red flag. Now flip it over to Minnesota. The Vikings have a need at QB too. Kirk Cousins is long gone. J.J. McCarthy's name is out there. But Rodgers? Crickets. No real movement. They haven't brought him in. No real buzz. Even Max Crosby said on a podcast that Rodgers to the Vikings never felt real. So now, if not Pittsburgh, if not Minnesota, why not Dallas? Why the Cowboys actually make sense? Look, I know some of y'all are laughing right now, but hear me out. The Cowboys need results now. Jerry Jones is 82 years old. He's not waiting 3 more years to maybe win a divisional round. He wants to win this year. And if Dak ain't the guy, they're gonna do something bold. Here's where things get spicy. Dak Prescott's 2024 season? Let's not sugarcoat it. 1,978 passing yards, 31st in the league. 11 TDs, tied for 30th. 8 INTs, tied for 86th, so at least he's not turnover prone. QBR 45.3, 29th overall. That's not a $40 million quarterback. Folks, that's not even a wild card QB. That's bottom tier production. Now let's compare that to Aaron Rodgers, and yes, I know he's 41. I get it. But in 2024, 3,897 passing yards, 8th in the league. 28 touchdowns, tied for 7th. 11 picks, yeah, a little high, but he's still pushing it downfield. QBR 48.0, 25th. Better than Dak in almost every single category, and he did that with a Jets offensive line that might as well have been made of paper mache. So imagine him behind the Cowboys O-line. Imagine him throwing to C.D. Lamb, Brandon Cooks, maybe even a newly drafted WR. We're talking legit firepower here. Enter Joe Milton and the pressure cooker. Now let's add more gas to the fire. Rumors are swirling that the Cowboys are also interested in Joe Milton, the rocket arm QB from Tennessee. Yeah, he's raw. Yeah, he's inconsistent. But man, the potential is scary. If Dallas drafts him as a project QB and brings in Rodgers as a vet, that's pressure, folks. That's Dak looking over his shoulder 24/7. So what do you think happens next? If Dak slips up, even for a few games, Rodgers could step in and take over. Or Milton could develop faster than expected and the leash gets even shorter. The Cowboys would go from being Dak's team to a full-on QB competition. And that might just be what this franchise needs. Risk versus reward, the Rodgers gamble. Now, yeah, there are risks here. Rodgers is not a long-term solution. We get maybe 1 to 2 years, max. And let's be honest, he brings drama. He's not the quiet veteran who shows up and just plays ball. You're gonna get headlines. You're gonna get attention. But tell me this, if Rodgers gives you one legit Super Bowl run, is it worth it? For me, 100%. I'm tired of 12-5 records and one-and-done playoff losses. I'm tired of watching other teams take risks while we play it safe with maybe he'll figure it out Dak. If we want to win now, and I mean right now, Rodgers and Milton could be the best way to light that fire. What does this mean for Dak? Look, I still respect Dak Prescott. I think he's a solid leader. He's great in the community. But football is a business, and the numbers don't lie. If you're ranked 29th in QBR, you're not doing your job at an elite level. Period. He's heading into a contract year. If the Cowboys don't extend him, this could be his last season in Dallas. So what better way to motivate him than bringing in real competition? Rodgers isn't just another backup like Cooper Rush. Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. He walks in and immediately raises the standard. That could either break Dak or finally unlock the QB we all thought we were getting in 2016. Final thoughts. So now I want to hear from y'all. Do you think the Cowboys should go after Aaron Rodgers? Is this the kind of bold move Jerry needs to make? Or should we just stick with Dak and keep building around him? Drop a comment below. Don't hold back. I read all of them. And hey, if you're new here and you love real Cowboys talk from someone who bleeds blue and silver, hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and share this video with your fellow Cowboys fans. Turn on those notices so you never miss an update, because if Rodgers signs with us, you better believe we're going live. This is Dallas Cowboys Today. I'm your host, your fellow fan, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Let's go Cowboys!